afternoon, whenever you're listening to this. Welcome to the internet's most sophisticated wrestling podcast, discussing the weekly aspects of it all, right here on
The Bald Monkeys Wrestling Podcast.
2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks, ladies and gentlemen, but we are back. Welcome to the Bald Monkeys Wrestling Podcast. You threw me off. You threw me off, Cotter. You threw me off. So it's been a long couple weeks of wrestling, and I'm not gonna lie to our fans. I've been on vacation for 2 weeks, and I was completely removed from wrestling because even though it is a passion of mine, sometimes that's just what you got to do. You just got to separate yourself.
Disconnect. Yeah, get off the grid sometimes.
But this week has been a pretty heavy-duty week, and I've written down a lot of notes, and obviously it's one of those shows where we're making lots of picks because we got NXT TakeOver in Toronto, and is it in Toronto? Both of them are in
Correct.
Toronto. Yes.
Toronto, yes.
Canada's always a fun place for wrestling shows. They're always
Bizarro world, yeah.
Yeah, always really solid, you know. We'll have to see if it's better than Montreal. Usually not. Montreal's really good.
No, Montreal and Chicago are usually like 1A and 1B when it comes to wrestling crowds.
Philly's pretty
obvious
good.
New York. Philly was good too, yeah.
They're rabid. Yeah, so before we get into the picks, which I'm sure is going to take us a while because we'll talk about these storylines that are going on, I made a few notes of things that maybe from a storyline perspective I would say are working, things that I say are not working, things that I'm not sure are working, and then I've got one thing that is a rumor that I think is worth talking about, and I want to jump right into that one. And it's that I was reading that Ember Moon is not liked by Vince McMahon. And
interesting.
I'm not
She's not
sure.
Asian.
Yes, this is this is accurate, but I'm going to tie it to that because if this rumor is accurate at all, and you know she has, you know, I don't really call that heat. If he's not into the character, I don't know that I would call that heat. Although that's the word that people like to throw around. Oh, she's got backstage heat. What, backstage heat because Vince McMahon isn't a fan of your character or what you're doing, or like if that's accurate, and I'm not saying that it's 100% accurate. Again, it's a rumor, but I would say based on what I've seen with her being in on the main shows, that it very well could be accurate because I feel like she's one of the more misused wrestlers. So,
And you're a little biased as
of
well.
Of course I'm biased. Of course I'm biased.
I don't necessarily disagree.
Of course I'm biased, but it ties in with the Asuka thing though, where, okay, so you've got Asuka and you've got Ember Moon, and if this is accurate, then you've got Vince McMahon who is taking two supremely talented solo wrestlers and just stifling them because he doesn't like their characters, but the crowd likes the characters. So I'm always get confused about that in wrestling, where it's like sometimes the fans organically make a wrestler work, and for you to just say, no, I don't like that, and just push them to the side and have them get squashed and stuff like that, like that's no good. So if she gets squashed by Bayley this weekend, like I can't say that I'm going to be too thrilled about that.
Do you think she's actually going to get squashed though?
I don't know if she's going to get squashed.
I don't think that would put they wouldn't put a match together like that. I think there's a very good chance that they could put a decent match together and both come out of it looking strong, to the point of you could almost turn Bayley a little bit in this match. I mean, she's starting to tease a little more of that grittiness, and this might be an opportunity to turn her full heel, which would be, you know, a nice dynamic for her to change and give Ember Moon a little bit of a push even. So I don't know. I mean, it's a rumor, obviously, but I think there's still a little bit of a chance that it's just a rumor and she can come out of this pay-per-view, with a pretty good storyline.
Yeah, unless it's just a build-up for a Sasha Banks storyline.
Yeah. I don't know. We've been kind of holding our breath about Sasha Banks for a while now.
Well, for the viewers at home, or the listeners at home, or the mind readers at home.
Yeah, or the one person that actually listens at home. Yeah.
This is it. This is it for me.
That one guy from WWE keeps listening to us.
Yes, I know.
We have to make that apparent.
This is it for me. This is the last time that I'm going to pick a match where I insert a Sasha Banks storyline into it when we get around to those picks, and that's it. If she doesn't come out this time, I just never think she's coming back.
I mean, you've picked her to come back a lot, so yeah, I would guess unless you wanted to wait till the Rumble for a surprise appearance all the way at the Rumble, it would be probably pretty silly to just keep guessing that she's going to come out. Then again, I mean, that would be the way that Steven normally gets.
Cash in on that one. Cash in on that one.
Much love to the boss.
I mean, you were going to get it right eventually.
Eventually. I hope she comes back. I mean, obviously the women's division is missing something. It's missing, a little bit of wrestling in it. And she's, one of the best wrestlers they have. And getting her back would be beneficial to the whole division. But she's taking her time. She's probably healed up pretty good. I mean, she was taking a lot of rough bumps. It'd be nice to see something where, you bring her back and Liv Morgan comes back repackaged and you have two decent bumping wrestlers to help that division out. But I don't know what direction they're going, honestly. It's been kind of different lately. I'm not saying different bad, but they're definitely doing some different things with storylines and trying some different angles. And I'm watching. I'm entertained. I didn't necessarily love Raw a few weeks back, but every once in a while they're going to lay an egg. I don't expect every week to be amazing. This isn't the Attitude Era.
Which Raw are you speaking of in particular, Mr. Tiro?
Oh, you know exactly which Raw I'm talking about. You were sitting right next to me watching it.
Oh, yes, I remember that one. Yeah.
Was that the reunion Raw? Was that my first week vacation?
No, it was the one after that.
It was the one after Reunion. Reunion, I just chalked that up to USA forcing them to do basically a highlight show.
Completely.
I don't even blame WWE. I blame USA for that. And whatever, fine. It's like the episode they used to air when it was the dog show at Madison Square Garden. It was the phone-in episode that no one really cared about. But
yeah, well, USA came out. I mean, I read it in multiple places, and they were like, "Listen, your ratings are terrible. We want you to do something. We want you to do this, so you're going to do it." So, of course, WWE was like, "Yeah, sure. I think I can get a couple people on the horn that would want to come back." And like half the old fogies, I mean, Chris and I talked about this, but like couldn't even get cleared to do things. I mean, in a way, it was the wrestling aspect of the episode, I don't think was terrible for the matches that they did have, but all the extracurricular activities were like, wow. Can we just skip to next week? Maybe just have Stone Cold come out, throw beers at everybody, do that, and then just call it a night at like an hour and a half, and then put on Modern Family.
Yeah.
Modern Family reruns.
I do love the last 5 minutes of Modern Family right before the WWE Raw like promo comes on.
It's better than the WWE promo because they changed it and it got worse.
Yeah, now, forever, whatever.
Yeah. So, yeah, cool. I mean, yeah, I was a little bit disconnected. I did read up on them a little bit. There was nothing too great happening the 2 weeks that I was gone. So apparently I picked a really good 2 week span to take vacation.
Well, I'll call out that the 24/7 title is still strong. I think they've done a really good job of making that interesting and really just building in storylines that bring characters that you normally don't see, onto television, which is something we've always talked about. Give these guys a shot, week to week, and not even the same guys. I don't love that Kelly was the first woman to roll somebody up. I think that should have been Carmella. I think they made a mistake with that. They could fix it still. I think at some point Carmella still needs to turn on Truth, but I think it's been entertaining nonetheless.
Well, both of the women that won that night were completely terrible. I mean, come on.
Three of them. No, three of them. You forgot.
Well, yes,
Medusa.
I did. I did totally forget that.
Now I did like that spot with Medusa holding the belt over the trash can. The $1 Million Man came out and bought it. That was funny. I got a kick out of that. But like we talked about, so many guys weren't able to get cleared. They had to do these finishes that were not televised. Finishes that you didn't get to see because guys just couldn't get cleared. These guys are just getting old. They don't need to be in a wrestling ring anymore. But yeah, but the 24/7 title has been interesting. I mean, it's I look forward to it continuing, beyond hopefully the next few pay-per-views. I actually hope they put a match on one of these pay-per-views of the title. That'd be a nice twist because right now you haven't even had an actual match in a while.
Well, ding 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 ding. You say the 24/7 title,
ding,
and I have that marked
ding.
as things that are working.
Are you guys in cahoots? Did you guys talk before this? Because was I not invited? Come on.
Well, here is Chris's prize. Nothing, because he's not my friend.
Yes. You know what? And I want nothing from you because I'm not your friend.
So I really enjoyed, as crazy as it was, I really enjoyed the OBGYN skit and having him pin his wife and take that, and then having Truth pulling a baby out and throwing it at Kanellis and then rolling him up. Like, it was just really funny.
I agree.
Yeah, and it's funny because they even just told us exactly what they were going to do the week before. Like, they didn't even like make it a surprise. She literally was like, "This is where I will be next week if you would like to pin me while I got my feet up in the stirrups." And then they just had him do it. It wasn't even a surprise. It was going to happen.
But I mean, exactly. But come on, that was the worst fake OBGYN office ever.
That's what made it so great, though.
the purple curtain behind them and everything.
Yes.
Chuck, that was the issue you had with that? That is the only issue? That whole sequence?
To be honest,
that is what you picked out? Man, they really need to work on their decor. No, dude, the whole thing is just comical, which is great. But yeah, I agree. We all can laugh along with it, and it's a minute of us just going, all right, at least I'm entertained.
I think that's what
I feel like there should be a show like 24/7 TV, with just the 24/7
the Truman
title.
Show,
oh man, that would be
camera
great.
On whoever actually has the title, just a camera following them the entire time.
WWE, if you dare steal that, I am coming after you.
Well, they could easily do that on their YouTube channel too, and I think it would be very successful. You just make extended videos with some of these wrestlers that are in cahoots to get the 24/7 championship.
Yeah.
Because some of the exclusive stuff knocks it out of the park when they do it. In fact, that leads me to number 2 of things that are working. Ding, 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 ding.
Ding, ding, ding.
The
ding.
OC. Did you see the exclusive clip of the OC after their match with the New Day and Ricochet?
No. What was this clip about?
They're backstage and they're talking about, well, ever since we, won these championships, we have become heartthrobs to all the women of America, specifically mothers of America. We're coming after all the mothers. Actually, all of the mothers of America are coming after us. And
oh my,
I can't even remember. Oh my gosh, I can't remember who was interviewing them, but they go, "Are you a mother?" And she goes, "No." And they just shake their head and they just walk away. I was like, oh man, I love the OC. I love them. I love, that they've finally taken Anderson and Gallows, paired him up with AJ, and are just really rolling with them. They are good television.
See, but now I have a random question, and I didn't follow Gallows and Anderson too much when they weren't in WWE, but what was with the face paint?
Face paint is from Japan, so it's something that Gallows used to wear a lot over in Japan.
Okay.
Just his throwback to like the Road Warriors and stuff, and some of the Japanese people that he used to follow. But yeah, a big war paint thing that he used to do when he was wrestling overseas, when they were winning all those titles and becoming the club and being really famous over there. So I think it's good. It's a throwback. It's a rebirth for them. The OC was a great tagline. The original, the only. I mean, it's great. I think it works. I agree. Ding, ding, ding. It works.
Well, are you ready to transition over to another tag team and our first things that are not working? Dun, dun, dun. It is. We apparently have gone in a time machine and gone backwards to a world where the Viking Raiders continue to just destroy local competition.
Don't even get me started.
I thought we got past this.
We did for 1 week, and it was actually a really good, entertaining match. And then, like, all of a sudden, what the hell? What the hell, WWE? Come on. My boys deserve better. We know that they can beat Joe Schmo and Randy Schmucklack at any point in time.
Randy Schmucklack.
And we have the name of this podcast.
Randy Schmucklack. Joe Schmo and Randy Schmucklack. There it is. Oh, man. He's on fire. He had the last episode name, too. So
Woo-hoo!
Unless one of us come out of nowhere and just really throw out a zinger, I don't think we can handle Joe Schmo and Randy Schmucklack.
It could easily be tough. I mean, come on. We still got at least another hour.
This is very true.
Yeah, we'll find gold out there. We'll see. That might be silver. We'll find gold.
But yeah, it is pretty disappointing to see them going back to the squashing of local jobbers and with like no storyline coming with them.
What are they, Chuck? Like you have the in with these boys. What are they? Are they faces? Are they heels? Are they faced heels, as James likes to call them? What are these guys? I don't get it.
I like the face heels, or as the three of us, we like to call them the feels. I like them just teetering. I know. Listen, you can't always put out winners.
He just keeps talking. He keeps talking to get past the bad feels name thing.
But I like the teetering on one side or the other. I mean, it is entertaining. It's like, okay, well, yeah, they're kind of like the bad guys that beat up on the little scrubs. But then they're like entertaining too, and then it's like, but so I don't know, to be honest. I like the playing the fence with it, but until WWE and the writers decide what they're going to do with them, I honestly think that's what they have to do. I mean, I think the crowds like them. I mean, how could you not two bearded Viking guys just kicking the crap out of people? I mean, it's great. It's great TV. I mean, there was a TV show called Vikings.
Yes, this is
I
true.
Just think I just think they need to pick a lane. Like, just they need to, writers or them or whoever needs to just pick a lane and start moving down it. Because I think these squash matches, as we're talking about, is just not working. So get them going in whatever direction you want to get them going. There's plenty of good tag teams out there. Why aren't we, again, showcasing more tag teams other than these local guys that don't need to be on TV when you have guys that are perfectly good that can still lose a match and look good?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we talked about it a couple of podcasts ago when we brought up multiple tag teams that, haven't really been utilized on TV and everything, and they should. I mean, I forget what's the next pay-per-view after SummerSlam.
Is there something in between SummerSlam and Survivor Series? There's got to be, right?
Clash of Champions.
Clash of Champions.
Oh, we might be going to Clash of Champions.
Yeah, we should be going to Clash of Champions. That's going to happen. It's just a matter of, you know.
So Clash of Champions will be basically title versus title, right? So
no War Raiders, or Viking Raiders.
So
unless they win something.
They're not going to be around for the next couple of pay-per-views to even have a shot to be, you know, in something like that. But I mean, I guess that's a good thing because now it gives you 2 months, WWE, it gives you 2 months to get some story behind them, to get them going. I mean, come on.
Sure.
Nah.
I mean, I don't have an issue.
Zero.
I don't have an issue with the character development itself. I think when you say pick a direction, I agree from the standpoint of like just have them start to fight people, like real people. It's okay to be faced heels. I mean, Joe is a faced heel, and he's spectacular.
Oh, he's amazing.
Awesome. Gold.
Samoa Joe, ding, 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 things that are working.
Hey.
Although he was quite faced.
A great promo.
He was quite faced this week, though, because when the car gets hit and then he goes over to help Roman Reigns and he's like telling him to stay down and like yelling for a medic, that's a very, very face thing to do. You know what I mean?
Well, it was interesting because, I mean, we obviously found out that it wasn't him, but it was very reminiscent of a classic feud that I loved because it had my favorite wrestler in it back in, I believe it was it early 2000s, I would say, where we had Triple H and Shawn Michaels feuding. And somebody beat up Shawn, and Triple H wasn't sure who it was and went back there and said, somebody get help. And he's in the back, you know, pretending that he's really concerned about Shawn, and they bring the footage up and who actually jumped Shawn, and it was Triple H. So it was an interesting kind of promo where I was like, man, this could kind of play to that same direction and storyline, but obviously they decided to go a different direction with it.
I don't think they're going in that direction at all, for sure. I think you have Buddy Murphy, and Buddy Murphy says it's Rowan, I think. And
yes, it's basically they say it's Rowan, and they've actually released footage of Rowan in a hoodie walking behind the scaffolding after the scaffolding fell on him.
Was it Rowan though? Or was
it Daniel Bryan?
No, not Daniel Bryan. Somebody bigger than Daniel Bryan. Somebody as big as Rowan.
Luke Harper?
Maybe. Or could it be somebody else that maybe we're not huge fans of?
Oh, no, not him.
Who's him?
Your favorite NXT call-up who is awful at promos?
Oh, come on. They actually let him speak, and you wanted to, like, stab your ear.
He should be back, right? He's healthy now?
I have no idea. I don't know what Lars Sullivan is doing. I don't want to know what Lars Sullivan is doing.
I think it might be Lars Sullivan.
Oh, man.
He kind of looks like Rowan from a distance. Bald head, beard.
Wow, that's a pretty good, yeah. I hate you.
It is an interesting. I mean, you can't have Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns versus Rowan. Is that really like? I mean, I'm sure it would be an okay match, but is that really? Is that really a hot match? You know what I mean? Not that I don't know that Lars Sullivan is, but it's a little bit more interesting in my opinion. Now, I think Luke Harper would be even better, but
it's just interesting because it's like. Roman really has he's doing a lot of tag matches recently. He's had a couple of singles matches, but I feel like they're focusing on him with some tag matches to kind of just get him away from the title picture and let him kind of get back into almost the groove of things, it feels like. And I almost thought this was going to be a lead to another tag match where like he might actually tag with Samoa Joe to take on Rowan and Daniel Bryan. But
he still could.
Yeah, I mean they could still go that
possibility.
direction, but it's just interesting what they're doing with Roman, and I'm wondering if he's just really just not 100%, but he's obviously still doing a really good job of playing the character and getting some good storylines going.
Well, I have him, Roman Reigns, and in particular, I put Roman Reigns attacker as something that I'm not sure if that's working or not, or I've got it as meh, like eh. It's not meh. It's just I'm not sure.
Well, you don't know what it is. It's still like it's a mystery, and I don't even know that they are sure what they're going to do with it. They could still pull a switch on it, right?
Oh, they could have some signing that they're keeping super secret that would like blow your mind. And here comes like I don't know, like they could sign like Marty or something like that, and then Marty comes out and is like, oh my god, like that would blow people's minds.
Yeah,
but
that'd be good.
It would be very good. Now, do I believe that that's what it is? No. I tend to go with, Lars Sullivan makes a lot of sense.
Oh, I hate you if it's Lars Sullivan.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
I just hate you.
Sounds good.
But the other thing is, like, Joe and Reigns kind of make sense. But, like, where's the beef between, like, Rowan and Reigns and Brian and Reigns? And if we even throw in like Lars Sullivan and Reigns, like with Lars, could it be like, no, you're not really the big dog, I am kind of thing, or what?
Lars is just, a psycho, so I don't know that you even need a storyline with him to start engaging Roman Reigns other than, I'm a monster. I'm the real monster. You're trying to, like you said, like the big dog. Fine. That's fine. Like you could play off of anything. He's just an idiot and a psycho.
Well, it's like that prison mentality thing, right? Like I'm gonna go after the biggest person on the show, which
big dog in the
which
yard,
probably is actually Brock Lesnar, but we can't have everybody going after Brock Lesnar. So
yeah, and
that does happen. Can we just have the ring blow up? Like if there ever is a Sullivan Lesnar thing, like come on.
And I don't know that Daniel Bryan, other than him, changing his career, that he still hasn't even told us what he's going to do. So that would be the only. I still think it'd be interesting if he went to 205 Live and helped push that. But yeah, I don't know. I think the Lars Sullivan thing makes a lot of sense. I hate it. And I don't know. I hope they kind of swerve it and don't go with Rowan. And I liked the random Luke Harper thing, but I don't know that's going to happen either. There's a lot of ways to do this. If it's just Rowan versus Roman Reigns, though, it's going to be confusing. I think it's going to be a little bit forced.
Yeah, it doesn't feel quite copacetic that way for me either.
But I like Rowan. I'm not trying to knock Rowan. He plays a part, right? I don't know that his part is to go head to head with one of the biggest draws they have in Roman Reigns.
I also don't think it's Rowan from the standpoint of Rowan was a very prominent member of a swerve that the WWE did. What was that at? Was that WrestleMania? No, it wasn't WrestleMania. Was it? Was it WrestleMania?
What swerve are we talking about?
When did
The Rock?
No. Rowan interfered for Daniel Bryan.
Yes.
When that initially happened, like that was out of nowhere, and everybody was like, "What, Rowan? Yeah. Like, what's happening?" Like, so I actually use something like that to believe that it's not. It's a swerve. It's just which way is it swerving? And I think it's swerving towards your boy Lars.
We'll see. I mean, are they going to have is there any kind of match or interaction happening this Sunday, or are they holding off?
I don't even know, man. The
There's
SummerSlam
nothing
card
for either one of them. I don't think
the SummerSlam card's a little weird. I don't know if you guys had a chance to look at it, but
no tag team matches.
Yeah, I know
again.
Wah. Things that are not working. Men's tag teams at SummerSlam. What the hell's happening?
You know what happened? We took 2 weeks off, and we didn't talk about the tag team wrestling, and they decided to not push tag team wrestling for 2 weeks. And here we are with no SummerSlam match. It's ridiculous.
There are 15 matches over the weekend between NXT and WWE, Saturday and Sunday. There's one tag team match.
NXT.
And it might be the best match of the weekend.
Hell yeah.
I agree. It could.
How Undisputed comes to play, and I love the Street Profits lately.
Well, yeah, they've been doing very well on the main show, which that will definitely affect how I pick that match too. Sadly, I feel like I know exactly what's going to happen in that match, the ending, just because the Street Profits are kind of working on the main show. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm at my picks are going to go based on my prediction that I had weeks ago, which is being draped in gold. So we'll see how those go later on.
And I think that's accurate. Yeah, I think that's accurate. But hey, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves here. I've got one last thing. Well, unless if there's anything else you guys want to say on the tag team front. I mean, I don't know what else to say other than what the hell. Like you've done such a good job of kind of recovering the tag team divisions, and then to just leave them out of SummerSlam seems kind of doesn't really make any sense to me.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go on a rant.
Go for it.
And all right, and here it goes. And I think I started this in the text message chat, but I'm really gonna get into it right. And it's about the women, and it's about the tag team titles, because we're talking about tag teams right now. What was the point? What was the point of having the Iconics win those titles if all it was to get to was for them to lose on a weekly show in a fatal four-way the way they did?
Bad story writing.
What was the point? Why didn't we continue down the road of building them as one of the better heel tag teams that they have on the show right now? Why didn't they build up the other tag teams women's that they were building with Alexa and Nikki? You were creating tag teams, which is great, but build them up, not just immediately just move the titles. Why not put that match on SummerSlam? What was the point? What were we doing this whole time with the Iconics if all they were going to do was look strong in the beginning of that match and get knocked out early? That was ridiculous. That was bad story writing. And that now I'll go backwards and go, you know what? Sasha and Bayley were right to be pissed off, because that was a whole bunch of pointless that took us down this road.
I couldn't agree more, but sadly, I find that to be, and it doesn't happen nearly as much anymore, but that's just typical WWE stuff. They want to believe it's working, and then when they give up all hope on it, they just pull the plug and do like a hard, like left or right turn, and then that's it. I think the Iconics are good characters. Now, would it be better served for maybe them to push Peyton and let Billy be the valet? I don't know. I still think they should do tag team wrestling.
I am perfectly okay with the Iconics being a tag team. I'm perfectly okay with the Kabuki Warriors being a tag team for a while. I'm okay with Rose and DeVille being a tag team. They have the roster now of tag teams, and you kind of just killed it, because now it's figuring out who's going to chase Nikki and Alexa. And now you don't even have a match at the main pay-per-view, and your storyline has to start over.
Yeah, I think for Raw on Monday, they have set up that it's going to be the Kabuki Warriors against Nikki and Bliss, I think, is what I thought I saw on WWE.
Please don't tell me it's a title match. Please don't tell me we're going to play hot potato.
It is a title match.
Oh, like I'm so frustrated with them with this tag team titles. Like they introduced them too early, then they just misuse them the entire time. They need to start over and just almost just get rid of them at this point. But I know that would be just blasphemy with what the women's division has been fighting for. It's just frustrating to watch them make mistakes like this.
Yeah, right on the trending news at WWE site, Bliss and Cross to face Kabuki Warriors in the title defense on Raw.
Well, it's not perfect by any means. I I agree that they started the tag team stuff a little bit too early because, and only because, they didn't have the tag teams like developed before they did it. That was really the only issue. Because again, I think there's more than enough women to maintain the division, but if you don't create those cohesive tag teams, then I don't know, what are you supposed to do? It looks a little bit chaotic and sloppy, and kind of like parts of that match. There's a few sloppy parts of that match, like majorly sloppy parts of that match. So I don't. Yeah, I've got it listed as meh.
It was better. It wasn't bad. Like, the match was okay. I mean, and I actually think the Iconics were starting to show a little bit of rhythm, which was even more frustrating. Like, you finally get some rhythm out of these girls, and you're gonna make them drop the titles.
Yeah, I was shocked that they were the first ones knocked out.
Yeah, I mean, you would expect them to at least carry it all the way to the end, probably, and then lose it at the end. Well, it was a shocker, right? I mean, because what's second that they are knocked out, it's like, well, whoa, we're gonna have new champions. It's just not good shocking.
No,
it's not unexpected shocking.
And the other finishes were kind of sloppy too. So
you ready to go on to something that's working that was unexpected?
Of course.
I'm afraid, but yes.
Kurt Angle being a guest referee randomly for a match, and then it's a swerve to have the Fiend come out and do the mandible claw to him.
Love the Fiend. It makes all the sense in the world now that he thanked Mick Foley after he came in and gave him the mandible claw. And now it's very interesting that that's going to be in his repertoire of moves. And loved what they did, as in what you just said, not expecting the Fiend to come out and jump Kurt Angle at that moment. So perfect. Exactly what we asked them to do, right? Only do it in certain spots and do it when we don't expect it.
Yeah, that
was perfect.
I was listening, and all of a sudden I heard the music hit, and I was like, whoa, wait. Who's he going after?
That one was a lot more unexpected to me than the Finn Balor one. Like the Finn Balor one, I was like, I don't know that I 100% knew it was happening, but the second the lights started going, it was, I was like, okay, Finn Balor makes a lot of sense. Kurt Angle does that. I don't know if that made sense at all, but it was fun, and that
like. Oh, go ahead, Jay.
I was gonna say, like, that chaos of him just coming out of nowhere and just dominating somebody. That's just, hey, I like that.
Yeah, I like him going after, some of the legends. I mean, we know that he's got the match with Balor on Sunday, but him coming in and doing the, like, the nutsoid, I'm coming after you, I don't care who you are, and then coming back and apologizing. I love it. It's so great. And we'll talk about the match against, Finn later, but it'll be interesting to see after that. And we know what's going on with Finn. What are they going to do next with him? Like, I would love to see him just, keep going after, like, a legend here or a legend there, and, throwing those things in every once in a while, because like I said, I was like, what, who is he going to go after? And then when he showed up in the ring, I was like, oh, wow, that's crazy.
Is there like a solid place that we're saying, Bray Wyatt is definitely on this brand's show? Has that really been, I know he does stuff on Raw, but is it too much to have him jump brands? Because I think it makes a whole lot of sense that you have him beat Finn Balor early on in the night, and then, like, let's say towards the end of the night at SummerSlam, you have Orton beat Kofi Kingston, and then he's in the ring celebrating, and then the lights go out, and then the Fiend attacks Randy Orton.
Ooh, that would be very interesting. Then now you're going back to old school Bray, with Orton and talking about, Orton burning down the Wyatt house and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, hey, it could happen, but yeah, I mean, that would be WWE. Listen up, that would be a very interesting little storyline to have going on Sunday. I kind of like that.
Well, I especially like the angle of, he's continuing his revenge, his history with a lot of people that are still wrestling. We're going after Finn first. Let's get that out of the way, and then let's go right into the next program with Randy and just keep moving from there. Eventually he could actually go after Kofi at some point, or the New Day in general.
Vince McMahon.
And
yeah,
he could just roll through everybody that he needs to feud with, and it'll be fun because he'll never stop, doing a program. You'll never have that like pause, and I think that's the surprise factor that the Fiend can bring.
And it's important that you're trying to build the Fiend versus the Demon, because it should be a match that the Fiend is going to win. He's going to beat Finn Balor. Finn Balor takes his break, right? So we're in August right now. So when Finn comes back, that separation will have already happened, or will be like right there where you're getting ready to have, like, let's say SmackDown on Fox. And if he's one of the things that's working the most, like, you've already moved Bray to SmackDown. When Balor comes back, he comes back to SmackDown, and that's when you start building that match between between the two of them, really, or at least start the slow build.
Yeah, I think that is definitely something that could work. And, like we've talked about, going back to, like Tiro just said, going back to some of the previous storylines that Bray has had, definitely helps. But yeah, I mean, SmackDown is going to need something when it comes back. And if Finn is back at that time, maybe it'd be a little bit before, a little bit after. Yeah, it makes total sense. But I mean, and I've said it with you guys before, I hate the whole brand thing. Like, I know it, it makes sense in a way and you kind of have to have it. But like, on the other hand, it's like, it's just so much better when, you don't know when someone's going to show up, where and when and how, and forget about the whole wild card thing. And like, just have it be a fluid, type of roster where people are going here, people are going there. I mean, we've been doing it for so long, and I feel like for the most part lately, when those things happen, I think they get a big pop from the audiences. And I know that we love to see that kind of crazy stuff too.
I think that it gets a little tricky when you start talking about the well, okay. First of all, you said something about the wild card rule, and I know that you guys had mentioned somebody had said in text a week or so ago, it's nice to see that the wild card rule is like dead for good. But it makes sense if you think about it, because SummerSlam is this weekend. And then what's the next big pay-per-view? It's Survivor Series. You can't have this really muddled mess of people going from show to show when you're trying to build a pay-per-view that has to have two distinct sides to it. So you, as much as they probably liked using the wild card rule from a ratings perspective to get people watching, they have to put that line in the sand to say, okay, it's important that we have this side versus this side at SummerSlam, and we have to start, separating people and really building that in each direction to make it work.
I agree, but I mean, I think you can kind of have that already with, who's been going back and forth to shows and whatnot. I mean, like, what show is Roman Reigns really on? Like, he's really on SmackDown, right?
SmackDown.
Yeah. So, I mean, but he's been back and forth. So, I mean, as much as I agree, like, I think you could totally continue on with the fluidity of the brands interweaving and still set up a really awesome, Survivor Series. With what you got with what you have
it's important that they keep Survivor Series strong because they're about to go into, the Fox era. So I think that's important that they figure out a way to make it a strong Survivor Series as well.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, so that is we'll move on from there. We've already talked about the women's tag team. That's meh. Here's the last thing. The last thing I have for something I hate, and this is me personally. This is the one where I was not sure if you guys were going to agree with me or not, but I found it very, 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 very irritating when you had Natalya in the ring with Becky Lynch, and she puts her in the sharpshooter, and she gets the count out, and they're trying so hard to repackage Becky as Stone Cold, and they're trying to set up Stone Cold versus Bret Hart in Toronto with Becky Lynch and Natalya. It is a submission match. So, it's so obvious. It's silly.
It'd be interesting if they could figure out a screw job angle to screw Becky in Toronto and to let Stephanie screw Becky in Toronto. It'd be an interesting throwback, and it would obviously put a McMahon in the story, but it would almost give her, a bunch of pop that she's actually helping Natalya win in her hometown. It's the opposite, right? It's the turn of, well, we screwed Bret in Montreal, we're going to screw Becky in Toronto. So now we're actually changing the dialogue and flipping it on its head.
It's like the Hart family Canadian redemption.
I don't like it.
No. Hey, trust me. I'm with you on the kind of like meh. Don't really love it, but I feel like that's, we talk about like what can save it, what can make a bad storyline good. I think that's what can make this bad storyline good.
I don't even know that it's bad. I don't even know that it's bad, a bad storyline. I was kind of okay with it, but then when I see her doing the sharpshooter and then she won't let it go and then they tap out and, they have a Trish come and break it up or whatever, like,
Trish didn't even wrestle. Like,
not at all.
We didn't even get to see Trish wrestle in that tag match at all.
I think that was the point. I think it was the point, because WWE are idiotic. Just to wait and showcase her for the thing that people got to pay for.
It makes no sense. Like, if I'm her, I want to take a few bumps in the ring. Like, let's go ahead. Let's take some bumps in the ring and let's work Charlotte a little bit. Let's get a little rhythm to a match that's, it's a big match. It's one of the bigger matches on SummerSlam if you think about it. Charlotte Flair versus Trish Stratus. Come on. I mean, that's bigger than Natalya versus Becky. It's bigger than some of the guys on the card. I mean, that's a pretty big match.
On WWE's website, they have that billed as the third highest one, giving Lesnar and Rollins the number one.
Which
minus the two title holders, you could easily put that as the headline for the pay-per-view.
Which, let's be fair, Lesnar Rollins, I kind of view that match as meh. I mean, it's like,
I agree.
Okay, I mean, I don't know that they've done anything to detract from it, but there's nothing to be really excited about it. It's been the typical kind of build up for a match like that where you have Lesnar just like, beating the crap out of Rollins, and Rollins is a broken man and he's like, I'm going to come back and win, but maybe he won't, maybe he will. I think I lean towards he won't, but either way, it's just kind of, I don't know. It's been done so many times before in so many different ways. It's typical. You know, I mean, if it were not Rollins and let's say it were somebody like Reigns, then instead of doing the I'm going to beat the crap out of the little guy, it would be we're going to go out there and get into a fight and the whole backstage is going to have to hold us apart and we're still going to be able to, you know, get to each other or whatever. Like they love to do that a little bit.
Yeah, but so in a things that aren't working kind of landscape, what is going on with the sharpshooter and the part of the body that it actually injures? Can we talk about that? Because I don't know, I'm pretty sure, and I actually looked this up on a bunch of different like little websites. The part of the body that the sharpshooter actually is targeted to injure, I believe, is the lower back.
Yeah, like the lumbar area, right?
So how come every single time that Natalya puts somebody in the sharpshooter, they're always grabbing their freaking knee? Their freaking knee.
Because I don't know. Because
every time,
it's ridiculous.
Because while they care about making it seem like a valid sport, and will even take commercial breaks and stop the action, they don't go accurate with the anatomy at all sometimes.
I mean, it's like, come on. Like, you can clearly look at the move and be like, no, like, it's not hurting their knee at all.
Ask Creamy Kramer what it hurts, because I've put him in many a sharpshooter.
We need to get the Creamy one on the podcast.
Yes.
At one point.
Yes.
Oh.
He could vouch for the back pain that I have put him in those sharpshooters.
Love it.
So I've got something that I thought worked. It worked for me at least, and it wasn't like. See, here's the thing. It wasn't even a surprise. Like I knew that this match was going to happen at SummerSlam, but the set piece that they had where Ziggler goes out there and he signs the contract and Miz is like, all right, well, I'll face you on Raw. And he's like, what? And he's like, oh, yeah, you didn't read the fine print. And then he's like looking at Shawn Michaels and Shawn Michaels like, it's not me. And then Goldberg comes out. Obviously, I knew that was what the match was because they've just been talking about it like crazy outside of the actual show. But man, I love that. I loved that bit. That just worked for me. And I like that, if you're going to give Goldberg a redemptive match, yes, you give him an opponent like Dolph Ziggler, who is one of the best at putting somebody over.
I liked that bit until Goldberg came out.
What? Wait a second. Am I talking to Nick Tiro right now?
especially after what happened not too long ago with Goldberg.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said about if you're going to get a redemption, you give him somebody like Dolph Ziggler who can get that redemption. And I disagree completely about the idea that Goldberg needs to be in a match at SummerSlam. He doesn't need a redemption. He doesn't need to be one of the matches on this card when you don't have a tag match on this card. I don't get the Revival and the Usos. I'll take Trish Stratus because you know what?
She's wasting space.
No, I'll take Trish Stratus. No, she's not wasting space. Who else is going to wrestle? They have too many people injured. Nia Jax is injured. Ruby Riott is injured. Sasha Banks is nowhere to be found. They have too many people injured. You need Charlotte to have a program with somebody. Trish Stratus works. They're repackaging Liv Morgan. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with Trish coming back. Now, I am not fine with guys like Aleister Black not having a match. That makes no sense. Cesaro not having a match. He deserves a match. He's been putting on a great show recently. The tag team, Revival not having a match. The Usos not having a match. We just talked about the OC not being in a match. The New Day as a tag team not being in a match. Daniel Bryan not being in a match. But we need Goldberg in a match? Come on.
Is it like redemption to Goldberg from the WWE for him and Undertaker's poor match? Like,
you know what? Undertaker got his redemption. Yeah.
It's more for the WWE than it is for Goldberg. They just bill it like it's more for Goldberg than it is for the WWE.
Why is it for WWE? WWE got the redemption. Well, Taker looked great in the last match,
and they want
That's
Goldberg
your redemption.
To look, and they want Goldberg to look
still
great.
Looked like a schmuck.
Who cares? Who cares?
Well, WWE cares. It's a match. It's on paper. I don't care either. And I know Nakamura doesn't care. Although I should, what's his shirt size? Because I do need to get him one of those Goldberg shirts.
Yeah. Nick, look out, because you're next.
Nick Tiro, you're next.
What a great promo he cut.
Like it's some kind of redemption. Like we owe Goldberg something because
he owes me.
Terrible.
He owes me for having to watch that and kill social media. Like everything that we had to deal with during those weeks after that match with the Taker's done, Taker's washed up, Goldberg is washed up, they almost killed each other. This is what happens when guys can't wrestle and are old and they get in a ring. They owed us a lot, and Taker made up for it. I'll give Taker credit. He had a great match with Roman Reigns. They had a tag match with McIntyre and Shane. It was a great match, but that's all I needed. The story was over. I'm done. Goldberg was forgotten. It was a joke, and Dolph Ziggler can continue to bury him, and it would have been great. We didn't need this. We don't need this. I don't like it.
Well, it's happening.
And what's going to happen when Goldberg hurts one of the best workers we have in Dolph Ziggler?
Well, all I have to say is this. I'm not sitting here saying that I love the match. I'm just saying I love the bit.
The only way, ready? And this is unfortunately the only way this match works, and it's probably the way they're going to do it. Goldberg spears him, jackhammer, match over.
Yep.
That's it. And it lasts as long as it took me to say that. And that's it. And that's his redemption. And you're welcome. Goodbye. Go away.
It's going to be such a short match that they are going to put a tag team match on SummerSlam. I actually do believe that's going to happen. But from a podcasting standpoint, that annoys the fuck out of me because it's like we try to pick all the matches on here, and then they're going to throw a fucking match in last minute. That's a tag match, and it's like, well, I didn't get
my picks.
I didn't get to pick it on the podcast, but we'll be in person, and I'll be like, okay, I'm picking them. I'm picking them. My picks.
Well, for whatever reason, I think that WWE is going to redeem Goldberg for whatever reason. However, I wish it goes the opposite way, Tiro. I hope that Goldberg goes for a spear right away on Zig. He completely misses him, hits the turnbuckle, comes up all dazed, and Ziggler just hits him with sweet chin music and just pins him 1, 2, 3 right there.
That would be amazing.
Goldberg is too much of an asshole to let that happen.
I know that, but that's what should happen.
Man, we're giving a lot of time to Goldberg in this podcast.
I know, way too much. Move on. Next subject.
Please, let's move on.
Speaking of people,
turn the page.
Speaking of people that are taking up space, but I'm not going to say it's not working. Me and Tiro were talking about this before you got on, Chuck. I find the Shane KO match this interesting meta moment of SummerSlam where KO's whole thing has been you're taking up space for good wrestlers, and that is in fact exactly what they're doing at SummerSlam by them even having a match. They're taking up space from other wrestlers. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm saying the meta-ness of that story is actually kind of makes it work. And I love chaos.
What I find appalling about that is this past week when Shane flipped the table over on Owens, and I don't know if it was Cole or somebody else or whatever. They were like, oh my God, he's pinned underneath the thing. And I'm like, dude, you could easily just crawl out of that.
It was definitely Cole.
They even had the shot. I was like, really? He's not pinned against anything.
He's got a big belly, man. I don't know. He's got a little bit of a beer belly thing going there. Maybe it just got jammed.
Do not even say that about fat people. I could have been under there, and I'm bigger than Kevin Owens, and my belly still would have been even hitting the table. Get out of here with that, WWE.
All you need to know is that if something happened and somebody's being way over dramatic about it, it's definitely Michael Cole that's talking.
Well, Yes, and here's what makes it even more ridiculous about flipping the table. Aren't we supposed to believe that it's like really hard to flip that table? Like, wasn't that one of like Braun Strowman's like thing of strength that he was doing? Like, I'm Braun Strowman, and look, I can flip cars, and I can flip the announce table. Holy cow! And he did that to like Kane, right? And like pinned Kane under the announce table, and it was amazing that he did it.
And now we got Shane doing
and now
it.
Shane McMahon apparently
no. You're forgetting something. Shane is in fact the best in the world, and the best in the world can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, he is the best in the world.
Don't worry.
I'd get some heat.
Next week they'll have like Nikki Cross come out, and she's gonna flip the table on somebody too, and then we'll be like, what are these tables really made out of, people?
They're made out of feathers and dreams. Okay.
But how good is KO though? Like how gold is KO?
Awesome. Him and Joe have been fantastic.
Yes. Which dream program for me. Dream program. Joe versus KO.
Oh my god.
It would be
vicious. The promos.
The totally unhealthy, unfit match. The two fat guys going in.
Hey, fat guys need fat guy matches sometimes. That's how it goes.
Cream pie on a pole match.
I look at Kevin Owens and I go, man. I could have been a wrestler if I just would have
rotisserie chicken on a pole match.
Love it.
Oh man.
They're both doing great.
To be fair, it's not fat guy versus fat guy, but you are getting I think at All Out you're getting Kong versus Kong. That's kind of close, isn't it?
Yeah. Neither one of them can actually talk though, right? Like neither one actually talks at all, right?
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah, not the same.
Okay. Shane McMahon, we're done with you. We're done with you till we get to your picks.
Moving on.
Two last things that are working. It's been very subdued. It's been very subtle. They've controlled it quite a bit. They haven't gone too crazy with it. I think that most of the promo packages for Kofi Orton are working for me. I just solidly like it. They're not going overboard with it. They're just like, hey, these two guys have history. Here's the history, and they're just playing off that for a match. It's perfect.
It's the perfect example of guys that have been around for a long time not going overboard with trying to build something new, just taking history and good promos and good wrestling and making it into a good program. They didn't overproduce it. It's perfect. I love it, and it's probably what they should have did with Kofi from the beginning. To be honest, it would almost, after he won from Daniel and had Kofi Mania, it would have made sense for him to go right into it with Randy Orton. And I'm kind of forgetting all the other feuds he had, because this one I think feels right and makes the most sense, and I think it'll even cement Kofi a little bit to put him over as a true, really great champion. So I love it.
If he wins.
If he wins.
And then my one last thing that's really working, although it saddens me to think that I probably don't get to see anything come out of it at SummerSlam. How good is Rey Mysterio and Andrade at having matches with each other?
Well, how they've been good, right? Like they actually had that little feud for a while, and then Ray kind of moved over to another feud, and Andrade moved over to another feud. But it's obvious that they have some crazy chemistry, and I just don't know that it's gonna come to anything. I think they're just gonna put them on when they need a good match. They're just gonna go, "Hey Ray, Andrade, get in there." Just throw two guys that just really work each other really well. I can't get enough of Andrade, period. That guy needs a bigger push. I know Shinsuke is better with the title right now, but I'd actually rather see Andrade get pushed with one of these titles, one of these mid-card titles.
One of the rumors was that Andrade is going to be getting a big push coming up soon.
Well, that's that Flair momentum.
To be the man, you gotta be with the man. I don't know. That doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, she's not the man though.
You gotta, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, man.
Yeah, but WWE is no different from any other business. It's not what you know or how good you are. Sometimes it's a who you know, and that's what gets you everything. And so, Andrade. There you go.
Yes.
So,
but you know what? I think he deserves every bit of it.
Yes, he does.
He's
Very
from
well
the
qualified.
time we saw him working with Johnny Gargano in NXT. I mean, from the time I was able to see him at a house show in NXT, wrestling as a face. He's been great, and Zelina Vega is just that catalyst. I think that's propelled him to how great he is as a full character now.
Yeah. Well, you know what time it is now, boys? You know what time it is now, boys?
We got a lot of picks to make, man.
To do tons and tons of picks. And Chuckles has got the picks. We'll start out with NXT, then move to SummerSlam.
Chuck's driving the boat.
Try to do it in the order you think
Oprah.
the matches will happen, or maybe the worst match to the best match in either card.
Captain Chuckles.
Now I got to do some order on this stuff, man.
Oh,
damn.
I just don't want you asking Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano first, on NXT. We'll talk about that last.
No. We're gonna start off with the Candice LeRae Io Shirai match. We're gonna go to Tiro first. I am gonna write down everybody's picks just so we can see, because I feel like we've gotten away from that lately.
Good. Yeah, we have. You're accurate in that. So I am going to roll with Io Shirai. I believe she's got the character now as the heel, as the badass. While I love Candice LeRae and I think she could become a really great babyface, I think it makes more sense for Shirai to not only win, but win and continue to beat the crap out of Candice, to get that sympathy around her, to really push her as a babyface, and Io, who can, I think, do and work with any wrestler on the roster right now as far as the women go and excel. She's going to be awesome, and I love her as a heel, so I'm going with her.
Okay, Mr. James.
Well, I always start out these things by saying, there's picking with your head and picking with your heart. Well, in this case, they both say Io Shirai. Come on. Who's gonna win other than Io Shirai? Io Shirai is a beast, and they need to just, every match she's in, she just needs to just keep winning, because she is going to dominate. I feel like she can dominate every women's division she'll ever be in if they really want a good product out there. Now, she goes up to the main card, Vince won't like her, but what can we do about that?
No. Well, I'm going to complete the trio and go with Shirai as well. Everything that you guys said, I completely agree with. I don't think it's Candice LeRae's time yet, but that's just me personally. I love to see Io Shirai just kick the crap out of everybody.
Yes. We are pro-Asian on this podcast, which is something really weird coming out of my mouth.
Well, let me tell you something. When Io Shirai had the match with Baszler and she did the moonsault with the chair, she won me over so hard at that moment. I was like, this is where we go. You go full equality on wrestling. That is something that you would let any guy do, so why not let the women do it? And she does it, and she does it great.
And I thank you for the segue, because now we're going to go into the NXT Women's Championship match with Baszler versus Mia Yim. Again, Mr. Tiro.
Shayna Baszler. I was a critic in the beginning, and I am 100% a supporter of her wrestling and her character. She's awesome. I think Baszler shouldn't lose anytime soon. I think she should hold that title for a while and really build that character before she gets to the main roster. So I'm all Baszler.
I have to back Chris, and I will admit that we were at NXT Philadelphia TakeOver, and I actually screamed "Learn to Wrestle" multiple times at Shayna Baszler.
And she listened
to me. She's great now. So we love you, Baszler. Keep it up.
Love you.
And I again agree with you guys. It doesn't make sense for Yim yet, just like I said with Lorray. And I think it's going to come to another Shirai Baszler match, which will be one of the better ones. Coming up in another paper.
Main event.
I agree. Main event.
The main event I wanted to take over.
It would be worth it. They can make it really, really good.
Yep.
Okay, we're gonna hit next our favorite division, the tag team division.
Hell yeah!
With the tag team champions, the Street Profits versus the Undisputed Era. Mr. Tiro, go.
Love me some Street Profits. Great promos lately, doing a great job, entertaining me, even when Raw's a little slow. But I'm sorry, this pay-per-view is all about being draped in gold and being undisputed. So 100% the Undisputed Era come away with the tag belts for the third time.
As I mentioned before, and while I agree with your gold drapery thought process, my thought process is more geared towards, I think that management really likes the Street Profits on the main show, and they're going to move them up to the main show because they've been just killing it on the main show and their backstage promos and stuff like that. So I think that's really, really more than anything what's pulled them up to the main roster. And if you get pulled up to the main roster, you got to lose your belt. So, Undisputed Era.
And again, I completely agree with both of you.
What a boring week of picks.
We will disagree. We're gonna disagree on stuff. Don't worry, we're getting to them.
It's coming, folks. It's coming.
I agree with the push up to the main show. I mean, they're great on the mics. They are great entertainers. I enjoy seeing them every week. And you want to know what? Even though we get down on the tag team division and how much they're unutilized, I feel like inserting those two into either one, SmackDown or Raw divisions, would be amazing to have them in there. So again, I'm going with Undisputed Era winning and the Street Profits coming up to Raw sometime soon.
And may I add that I really hope that when they do move the Street Profits up, that they continue to do the thing that they used to do when they would win matches in NXT. Go into the crowd, dance with the people. They will love you forever for it.
Be with the people. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, the next match, we have the triple threat for the North American Championship. The Dream versus Pete Dunne versus Roderick Strong.
Whew.
It's a good sounding match, right?
This is where people might disagree. I know. I'm thinking I'm going to pick something different.
Yeah, and I could definitely sit here and talk about how much, I love Riddle or how much I love Velveteen, but as we've heard from this podcast weeks ago, I'm sticking with the prediction that this is the pay-per-view where Undisputed gets all the gold. So I got to go with Roddy, and Roddy's going to come away with his first singles title in NXT.
Big baby.
I'm thinking that it's time for Velveteen Dream's ride to end. I think he's going to lose the title, but I don't think Roderick Strong's going to. I'm going to go for something crazy just for fun, okay? Pete Dunne is going to win the title, and he's going to be part of the Undisputed Era. Going for it, baby. It's time to turn on Roderick Strong, and he's not even going to be ready for it. The Undisputed Era is going to turn on him in that match, and it's going to be Pete Dunne that joins the Undisputed Era as the North American champion.
What?
Wow.
What?
It's a crazy
He's already
out there
in British
prediction.
Strong style. That is out there.
It's out there, and I love it.
Wow. Well, while I disagree with him joining Undisputed Era, I do agree that Pete Dunne is going to win the North American Championship.
I'm on an island.
There you go.
You are
an
by
island
yourself,
of gold,
Mr. Tiro. This time.
It's a gold island. It's wonderful.
Now, just pure transparency here. Chris Tiro is probably right. Christopher is right. Roderick Strong will win this match, but I'm not going to pick Roderick Strong. I'm going to pick Pete Dunne.
It's going to be a good match. It's going to be a good match.
It's going to be an excellent match. It may be the best match of the night.
Potential.
Until the last one. Oh, no.
Until this one, the 2 out of 3 falls match for the NXT Championship. The champion, Adam Cole, versus Johnny Gargano.
So, real quick, what's the stipulations in this match? What's the 2 out of 3 falls stipulation? I know we've got 2 of them announced. Is that accurate?
Oh man, I don't even see that.
I thought the rumor was they were going to each pick one, and then Regal was going to get to pick the third one. Is what I was hearing.
Yes, yeah. So there will be a stipulation for each fall. The stipulations for the first 2 falls will be a street fight chosen by Gargano and a singles match chosen by Cole.
What?
If there is the need for a third, NXT General Manager William Regal will decide the final stipulation.
Weird, right? Like that Cole just picks a simple singles match, right?
Very odd.
Yeah. So I'm obviously picking Adam Cole. I'm not even gonna do some weird, long, drawn out thing. Huge Gargano fan. Everybody knows that. Love Gargano. Love Johnny Wrestling. But I'm sticking with my prediction, and I'm kind of stumped at what the third stipulation is gonna be. I would love for them to do something out there and do a first blood stipulation. But I just don't see WWE doing it. But I think with the pressure from AEW, there's a chance. There's a minuscule little grain of sand chance that they could do it. And that is my big bold prediction for the TakeOver pay-per-view. First blood as the third stipulation in this match.
I like that. I was just writing that down. Okay, James, go.
I got no crazy prediction. I don't know what the final that second stipulation sucks so bad. Why?
Which is why they need something big for the third one.
Well, yeah, but I think why wouldn't he just go I just want a no holds barred match for the second one, and then immediately you just have Undisputed Era come in and just beat the fuck out of Johnny Gargano, and he just gets an easy pin. That makes a lot more sense to me. Of a fun thing that you could do with that. That being said, are we gonna just try to pick stipulations real quick? I'm gonna go with street fight. I wrote down. So street fight, singles match, and then if I were in charge, what would I pick? I would pick. Man, I mean, what is the breakdown? I hate these street fight things. What is a street fight? Isn't a street fight just a hardcore match?
Yeah, but it's isn't Street Fight Falls count anywhere?
I believe so. Yeah.
Man.
No, they could. I mean, but they tend to change these stipulations on the fly. We'll watch and we'll assume it's the normal Street Fight rules, and all of a sudden it's got this weird twist to it, right?
All right. Well, let me go just balls to the wall, crazy pick, because I don't think I'm going to get any points in this. I don't think I'm clever enough. I'm going to pick Adam Cole, and I think that you're going to know what Regal's stipulation is right away when they start the pay-per-view, because there is going to be a cell hanging above the ring, and it's going to be Hell in the Cell for the last match.
Ooh, like it.
Well, what a terrible surprise.
Well,
it wouldn't be a surprise, but...
Well, it wouldn't be a surprise.
What was that thing up in the sky?
It wouldn't be a surprise for. I mean, well, yeah, but when it comes to the surprise stuff like that, I don't know. I mean, I don't know that it matters for.
Well, you know what? Well, that's I like your off the wall guess, but as soon as the pay-per-view starts, all we're going to be doing is looking above the ring and being like, "Is there? Is there?"
Well, but they could start the pay-per-view and they could have him just announce what the stipulation is if it goes that.
Yeah, true.
and just have the surprise be at the very beginning. I mean, a surprise is a surprise is a surprise. I mean, I don't know what a good match type is for, I mean, I think of all the crazy match types that you can. I mean, I guess it could be a TLC match. That would kind of make sense. Like, okay, it's going to be tables, ladders, chair match.
That second fall worries me.
They're like, okay, this is the third match. And then a chain comes down from the ceiling. Okay, we're putting the belt up on it. TLC match. Makes more sense, actually. But I'm still going to stick with Hell in a Cell.
Okay. So I'm going to go with Cole. I agree with Tiro where the whole storyline for the most part is going. I love the First Blood thing, but James stole my thunder, and I had already written down before this TLC match. I think it's great. I think they would do a fantastic job with it, and putting the belt up there after they split the first two, I mean, would just cap off a great 2 out of 3 falls match, in my opinion.
Transparency again. That's happening. By the way, that has to be what it is. Just sitting here thinking about it. Awesome. Just sitting here thinking about it. That's got to be what happens. So
something about that second stipulation makes me wonder what they got in mind.
Yeah, the fact that it's just a singles match. Go big or go home.
Yeah,
it's like that singles match. Secondly, it's I don't know. There's something around that we'll see, obviously, and I'm excited about it, and that's why NXT is awesome. They've gotten us interested and excited, and we haven't even seen the match yet.
And we're all going to be disappointed when it's a last man standing match.
Oh God!
Wah, wah,
it's another 2 out of 3 match.
Rotisserie chicken on a pole.
Indeed. All right, that's NXT.
Yep, that's it. That's what we got. Okay, so now we're moving on to Sunday.
The B show.
Yep.
Truth. Our truth.
So,
24/7 European champion.
Whoa, what?
I-95, 747. So on the pre-show, I think it's the Drew Gulak for the Cruiserweight Championship versus
Oni Larkin, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Gotta go with Gulak. Gulak. Did I jump the gun? Yeah, I did. Gulak.
I was gonna give it to James first this time, but we'll let you go again, Tiro. We'll let you have your way.
You could switch it next time, but I'm still picking Gulak.
It wouldn't have changed anything for me. It's got to be Gulak.
Yeah, and again, with how boring our picks have been today, I agree.
I'm gonna have some heart picks. I'm gonna have some heart picks coming up. They're on their way. So.
It's gonna get trickier here shortly. Yeah.
So, even though WWE has the Trish Flair match rated on the higher end, I am going to do that one next. So, Trish Stratus versus Charlotte Flair in a normal, boring singles match. James, go.
I think that Trish Stratus wins because Charlotte ends up DQing herself by just after a while just going off on Trish Stratus. And whoever comes out to stop her is her next opponent. I don't know who that'll be, but so Trish via DQ.
You got it. Tiro.
Woo! Charlotte Flair.
We're mixing it up.
I gotta go with Charlotte, and it's based on what I'm going with later on. So Trish takes the pin in her hometown. Unless she planned on wrestling for a long time, she's already gotten her swan song, so she doesn't need this one. Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, this one's kind of tough for me. I would love to see Trish win just because I've always been a fan of Trish, but I'm going to go with Flair, the same as Tiro, to see who Charlotte is going to be kind of eyeing next as she gets back into the fold here.
May I say as well, not only do you like Trish Stratus, you get very hostile with people who interrupt you from seeing Trish Stratus.
That's right. Damn. Okay. So now we're
inside joke.
Go
moving right along.
Now we're gonna go to the sleeper match. Goldberg versus Dolph Ziggler. James.
Well, as much as I hate to do it, my heart is with Ziggler, but my head is overwhelmingly telling me to go with Goldberg. So Goldberg's going to win, and I think Tiro's right from before. He's going to win very, very, very quickly.
Tiro.
Hate this match so much. Goldberg wins. I hope I'm wrong. That is all.
Well, I'm gonna go against you guys and
fuck yeah,
and pick my situation.
I'm gonna be rooting for Chuck Hard in this one. Yes,
Ziggler is gonna win in less than 15 seconds because Goldberg completely misses a spear, comes up and gets kicked right in the face. So hopefully that happens. It probably won't, but a boy can dream.
Here's the dreaming.
Please.
Okay, on to a much better match for the United States Championship. AJ Styles versus Ricochet. James.
I love the OC, and I as much as I love Ricochet, I feel like you can put him somewhere else and have him chase another title, and he'll be just as compelling. He's just a really good wrestler, so really good wrestlers do really well typically. AJ Styles all day, baby.
Zero.
This is a tough one. Like, because you can kind of build a couple of different stories in this match. You can build the heat on the OC and have them help AJ win. You could build the validity of how great Ricochet is by having him get a clean victory over AJ Styles, or even overcome all the odds and beat AJ Styles. Both are good storylines. Both could lead to programs going forward. I'm gonna go with AJ Styles. I think Ricochet is going to beat AJ Styles, but not this Sunday. I think AJ Styles wins.
Oh, here we go again. The trio's back. I again
back
go
together.
with AJ. Back together again. We had one where we were off, but we're back together. Yeah, I'm going with AJ. I mean, I would love to see the back and forth, with the title thing. And I was toying like Ricochet by DQ because, Gallows and Anderson come in. But yeah, I think it's going to be one of the top matches of the night, in my opinion. But I think AJ is going to take it.
You know what? Let's stop this train.
Uh-oh.
I'm switching my pick.
Oh, man, I got to get the eraser out.
I'm switching my pick.
Are you using a pencil?
The more
No.
the more I think about it, I'm picking Ricochet. They're going to do one of the simple things that we do in wrestling, and they're going to throw the OC away from ringside into the back, throw him out, and Ricochet is going to get the win over AJ Styles and win the United States Championship. Write it in pen.
It's down.
That makes sense from the standpoint if you're like, okay, it's time to push AJ to a main title because he's so popular. So
yeah,
it's not a bad pick.
Okay, let's go next. The I Quit match, or the I'm out of WWE again match, because we've already done this one before. If Owens loses, he's going to quit WWE. Kevin Owens, Shane McMahon, James.
Man, it's interesting. Because I can see these storylines where you have KO lose, and then he comes back and just terrorizes, like at every single city, just terrorizes Shane McMahon over and over and over again. But I don't think that WWE is doing themselves a service by continuing to have Shane McMahon be the forefront of any storyline. I think this is the pinnacle of it, and it's time to kill it. So KO definitely wins.
Tiro.
Wrong. You had it right the first time. KO is going to do exactly what you said he's going to do. He's going to lose this match and come back and terrorize WWE and try to take over the show constantly until Shane has to give him a match to get back into WWE at the next big pay-per-view. Shane draws heat. I think Fox likes the McMahons on TV, so I think Shane isn't going anywhere. And I'm okay with it as long as KO is involved in it. So Shane McMahon wins, and we're going to have plenty of fun watching KO just show up in the crowd for weeks to come.
And as much as I don't like to say this, I am going to go with the best in the world, Shane McMahon.
Yes.
And agreeing with Tiro that the only way that Shane can win this match is exactly with what Tiro said, of Owens coming back and just wreaking utter havoc everywhere SmackDown goes, everywhere Shane McMahon goes, just to annoy him, to bring him back with some crazy match later on. So I'm going to go with Shane on that one.
Don't worry, James. You're right. You just pick it wrong.
It's not the last time I'm gonna do it. There's a heart pick coming up pretty soon. I'm not sure when he's putting it.
Don't pick with your heart, man.
It's happening. I'm losing points because of it.
Uh-oh. So we're gonna head over to the SmackDown Women's Championship.
Here it is.
Bayley versus Ember Moon. James, you have the.
So this is the final time that I'm going to do this prediction, but I'm picking with my heart. So my prediction and my pick are going to be totally opposite. My pick is for Ember Moon. Ember Moon is going to win the title because I heart Ember Moon. She's one of my favorite female wrestlers, and I think that she really, really, really deserves it. That being said, I think that my prediction is that Bayley wins. This is weird to pick one, but the prediction is something different. The prediction is that Bayley will actually win and then be attacked by Sasha Banks, and that sets up Bayley's next little program against Sasha Banks. It is the return of Sasha Banks, and it is the last time that I'm predicting this return, because if it does not happen, if, like, let's say my pick is accurate and Ember Moon actually wins, then I just don't believe Sasha Banks is ever coming back. I've picked her way too many times. There's been way too many good opportunities to put her in and make the story really good. And if they don't do it here, then I just don't see them ever doing it.
Wait, so that I have this written down correctly, you're picking Ember Moon to win.
Yes.
By DQ because Sasha Banks is going to attack Bayley.
No, she's got to win the title. He's saying Ember Moon wins the title.
I'm saying that my prediction is for a point in itself, right? We do that all the time, where we try to predict a storyline.
Ember Moon wins legally.
Yes,
and then Sasha.
This is not a Steven. Hey, wait. How is that a Steven?
You're picking both sides.
I'm saying. I think for a story,
Ember Moon's gonna win. No. If she doesn't win, then Bayley's gonna win.
Well, then okay. Well, no. You know what? Then I'll go with what Chuck just said. Ember Moon wins by DQ because Sasha Banks attacks Bayley. That sounds great. Okay. And then that sets up storyline going forward. There you go. Thank you, Chuckles.
I didn't mean to push you in one direction or the other. I was just trying to get a handle on what you were saying.
I definitely was pushing.
Chris just didn't like that I was picking one, but I was saying that my prediction for the storyline was something that was diametrically opposed to what my pick was.
Okay.
That was for the boss. That one was for the boss, pushing you in the right direction.
All right. Pick the match, Chris.
On to Tiro, Bayley and Moon. Who you got?
I'm just picking Bayley. Nothing fancy. Picking Bayley.
I am also going to go with Bayley. I think they're going to continue this little thing between the two of them. And I think, like you said earlier, Tiro, get get Bailey going a little bit more on the heel side of things and everything. So I'm going to go with Bailey on that one.
Cool.
Let's see. We are going to go next with Finn versus The Fiend. Jane.
Mr. Rogers reigns supreme, even though he's dressed as a fiend.
You know, I mean, Bray Wyatt's winning. But I would love for The Fiend to not wrestle this match. I would love for The Fiend to not come out in this match. I would love Bray Wyatt to just come out as Mr. Rogers, Bray Wyatt, in this match and still win the match. And then The Fiend, after the match is over, somehow, arrives and does something. And you can easily do that with a double, because obviously you can't quickly put the costume on. But either way, Bray Wyatt's going to win. And The Fiend is going to take this match and continue on to another program as Mr. Balor takes a little bit of a break. So definitely The Fiend.
I am also going with Bray. And I'm going to throw in a little demon at the end. I think Bray is going to beat him as The Fiend. I would love to see him come out as Mr. Rogers, because that would be hilarious. But I think as Bray is leaving, Finn is just destroyed in the ring, and like all of a sudden, like smoke's going to come up, lights are going to come out, and you're just going to like see a flash of like the demon or something, like, or red light. Something is going to happen with the demon, so they can bring that back later on. But I am going with Bray, but I think the demon is going to be thrown in there somehow at the end of the match after it's over.
I like that finish. I like that, like the almost flicker of the lights, and he's not in the ring anymore almost, right? Baylor's laying there,
exactly.
A flicker of the lights, and he comes back on, and you're not quite sure what just happened. Could have been The Fiend, could have been Finn, or maybe they're both gone. Yeah, that could be interesting.
I like the visual more of, Balor's kind of knocked out, Fiend's walking out. Like you said, he gets to the top of the ramp and then he notices that there's smoke everywhere. And then you get the heartbeat, and then the red lights start to pulse, and then he looks back at the ring, and Balor is like on, like leaned over, but just like staring at him. And that's it. That's just how it finishes. I think that's spectacular.
Yeah. Give it like you think you've won. Just wait.
Yeah.
Oh, I can like picture it now. That's going to be awesome.
It's good stuff.
Okay, so let's go to...
Man, we should write this stuff.
Right? WWE Championship. Kofi, Kingston, Randy Orton, James.
I don't know. I like my Fiend show up in this match, but I don't know whether or not it's important for Orton to win or not. Maybe not. Maybe it's not important for Orton to win. So maybe for the redemptive side of the story, we have Kofi Kingston win this match. And then my prediction is, at the end of the match, the lights go out, Orton is in the ring, and then he is attacked by The Fiend to set up Orton versus The Fiend as being his next program.
So I'm going to go with Kofi, because I think, like you said, the redemption for Kofi is big in this match. I think this might be bigger than him winning the title, him finally getting over Randy Orton after all those years of supposed Randy Orton keeping him down in the storylines. And I'm just going to take a wild swing at storyline that we've been talking about for a while, in that this is the beginning of the turn for Big E. And this is the beginning of us getting a New Day match, maybe a triple threat match, maybe a Big E versus Kofi match with Xavier as the ref, something to really just rip them apart. not that I want this to happen. I don't think it will. I think they like all the merchandise they're selling, but I just wanted to throw a twist on this match. Merchandise. So, but going with Kofi.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Kofi too. Plain and simple. I just think he's gonna win the match on this one. No crazy things. Although I really do love James's, prediction of Bray coming out. I mean, we talked about it earlier. I think it would be great for the next step of things. Okay, so now we're going to Becky Lynch versus Natalya for the women's championship.
Boo.
Who do you guys think is gonna win, James? I know, as you can see, I'm so excited for this match because I just want someone's back to actually hurt when they get, come on.
This is like the definition of a meh match for me. Like, Natalya has been the definition of a meh wrestler for me, and the Becky Lynch character has been the definition of a meh character. But so I have. Let me see. What did I picked before? I picked Trish winning, but by DQ, so she gets the crap kicked out of her, basically. So, man, are we mean and then nice to Toronto, or are we just mean to Toronto? Becky Lynch wins, straight up.
Mean, you're just like a mean guy.
Toronto,
but. Should I have Rousey interfere in this match and like have Natalya get the win?
Damn
that
you!
Sounds very right to me. So, how about Natalya wins via interference from Ronda Rousey? This is why it's good to go first, Chris.
Yeah, I know. That was good. No, I was gonna drop a little Rousey, possibility on this too, but I'll stick with my first prediction of them doing a Toronto screw job to Becky Lynch and getting the pop from the crowd with Stephanie actually screwing over Becky, which is a total swerve, totally out of character, something I don't think anybody would see coming, but in the end would totally see coming because it's basically a play off the Montreal screw job and a flip on its head. So I'm going to go with Natty winning the belt, Natty becoming the champion.
I can't believe we both just picked her.
That's crazy. Ugh. Yeah, and I don't think it's far-fetched to think that your version would work. I think something happens in this match. It can't just be a simple clean match. It's I don't see it.
I'm just gonna go Becky Lynch just to go against you guys. I mean, I could really care less who wins the stupid submission match. I just hope if Natalya wins, no matter how she wins, that Becky Lynch actually like clutches her back instead of her knee. That's all.
Hey, if you have any love for Sasha Banks, it's not the worst place to throw her into for a prediction.
True. I'm just gonna leave it Becky Lynch. We'll see what happens. I mean, but like if Natalya gets up and like Becky Lynch puts her in the arm thing and like all of a sudden like Natalya's like holding her ankle, I'm calling bullshit and I'm not watching anything else.
He's done.
I'm done. Anyway, speaking about done, we're almost done. Last match of the night, probably. We have the Universal Championship. Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins. James, go.
They are building this like a David Goliath type of match where you have David at being Seth Rollins, where he's kind of injured and he swears that he's going to, take down Goliath. Goliath is going to destroy David. The Beast is winning. It's not even going to be close. The match is just going to be like, I don't know that I want to call it a full squash, but I don't think it's going to be, much better than that.
It's just kind of obvious right now that they're making Rollins look beat down to the point where when he loses, it's okay because he's been so hurt over the last few weeks. And honestly, if Rollins did win, what do you do with Brock? Does he go away again? You just brought him back. Is he just going to do this thing where he goes away for a few months, Rollins gets a run for a little while, and then Brock comes back and beats him again? Like, until you interject a third person, I don't know. It makes the most sense, unfortunately, that Brock wins this match.
And as much as I hate to bring the trio back and agree with you guys, especially since it's Brock Lesnar, I'm going to go with Brock Lesnar winning. He's just beaten the crap out of Rollins a lot lately. And I like the whole thing of what you guys just said about Rollins being the downtrodden. He's been beaten down. He is injured. How could he possibly beat, the beast, Brock Lesnar? So Lesnar wins, and we got to get somebody else into the mix with the championship here. Someone else has got to bring some new blood into this whole championship title there. But
well, there you go. Here's offshoot prediction. Who's going to be Lesnar's next opponent? If we all think he's going to win, his next opponent
Lars
be?
Sullivan.
No,
I'm just kidding. I just wanted to say that to mess with Chris.
I just left. Bobby Lashley.
I know they don't necessarily have great chemistry, but Braun Strowman.
I would love to see Braun Strowman. I'm not a fan of Bobby Lashley.
I'm not a fan of Bobby Lashley.
I know you're not. I know.
You have a shirt. What are you talking about?
But yeah, wait, hold on. You do have a shirt. So, but it's we did Lesnar, Reigns, bad wrestler. Are we gonna go bad wrestler again? Is that Brock's whole thing? It's always gonna be a bad wrestler for him, to go up against next. I mean, Rollins is a good wrestler. I'm not taking that away from him. I'm not calling him a bad wrestler, but I don't know. Can we just have the Viking? Can we have my Viking guys just kick the crap out of Brock Lesnar and be like, "Yo, get out of here, bitch"?
Because that's what they would probably say. They'd call him a bitch.
There's one thing I'd be really excited for if they threw out there at the end of the match, Lesnar beats the crap out of Rollins, and all of a sudden, bro, and Matt Riddle comes out. That would be interesting if they went ahead and made the big push for that. But I don't know that Riddle's ready. But that could be interesting.
Truth. Our truth.
48-7 European champion.
Waffle House championship.
I got my baby back.
Yes, this is a thing. Well, that's it. That's all the picks, right?
That's it. That's all.
I'm a little winded. That was all. That was a lot. Yeah.
It was a long podcast. We've been talking for almost an hour and 50
2
minutes.
But 2 weeks.
We had a lot to catch up on. Minus anything else being thrown into the fray on Sunday. I don't think anything's going to change on Saturday, but who knows? Something could happen on Sunday. We might see a tag team title defense possible.
Oh, please give me a pre-show tag team match. Just a pre-show one. I'll take it.
I think it'll happen.
You have so many good tag teams.
It's got to
happen.
happen.
Boys are showing up. They're showing up. They're kicking the crap out of somebody.
So how about we go for some crazy prediction or some match or something that you guys want to see this weekend that we don't know about, that we maybe haven't talked about either? I know that might be a little difficult.
I'm gonna go with a straight of one guy just showing up this weekend. Rusev, get him back on TV. He's had a nice little break now, but I'd love to see Rusev back. I think he's been away long enough now that the crowd would pop really loud if he came back in a big spot. So I'll just take Rusev back this weekend.
I've seen him on TV. He's been in those commercials. I love it. He looks like a normal guy.
Is he the one who hit Roman Reigns?
Ooh.
Wow.
Also a good option.
You're doing the Roman Reigns spear thing. Okay.
Wow.
Yes, good option.
What about you, Chuck?
Rusev Crush. Oh, sorry.
I'm gonna go with an addition of a tag team match, and I'm gonna say my Viking boys show up, and I'm gonna say that they
kill destroy Toronto locals.
Yeah, Detroit. Yeah. No, I'm gonna go that the Viking really Raiders show up and they take on the Usos and destroy them. Just because.
That could be very interesting.
That's a good way to squash some guys that have been driving around drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with I don't know, let's say a surprise signing of Marty. That's gonna be my guess.
Love it.
And he's gonna show up. I'm not sure where he's gonna show up. Maybe he hit Roman Reigns. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe he just shows up.
He is a villain.
He is a villain, and the villain, really. And so I think that that would be a crazy prediction. Do I think it's gonna happen? No, but hey, I would appreciate it. And it would be, I mean, as we sit here, it's like, what are they giving us for SummerSlam that's going to knock our socks off? And I don't know that you can make up a lot of the stuff that you're not doing with something like that to get people really pumped about something.
But let's be honest and let's give them credit.
Sure.
The last few pay-per-views have been good. They've been doing a better job recently. They've been putting a better product out recently. It's just interesting that this card doesn't look that great right now.
Yeah.
But we've been fooled before by a card that doesn't look that great and all of a sudden is amazing. Now, that's NXT normally. NXT could usually fool us and go, this card looks kind of so-so, and then all of a sudden everybody comes with it. So, I'll give them credit.
It's interesting because as much as I want a tag team match, well, it might be fun for them to add 2 matches, but I think it's a little bit too late. It'd be fun for them to add basically like a 3 or 4-way tag team match. It's like a ladder match or something like that.
Yeah.
And do something very do something very similar with the Intercontinental Championship and throw a bunch of people in the ring to go after that. Because you could put Andrade versus Nakamura versus Rusev versus Ali.
Aleister Black.
Aleister Black. Yeah, there's so many good wrestlers that they're just not using in this pay-per-view.
Yeah, there's so many. So many. It's great.
Cross your fingers. Cross your toes. Maybe.
We'll see. Well, that's all our time. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I definitely enjoyed talking wrestling with you guys after 2 weeks off. It was a really fun time. And Chuck, you have retained the title of the episode.
Yes.
So
2 in a row. I love it.
So that will definitely be the name of the episode. Although it was Joe Schmo and what was the back end of it?
I think it was Jim Schmucklack.
Oh yeah, Schmucklack. Yeah. Or like Roy, I think it might have been Roy or something like Roy Schmucklack or something like that. Yeah,
it was definitely Schmucklack. That was the guy's last name.
Yeah, that is the name of the episode. So,
Mr. Schmucklack.
Oddly enough, Mr. Schmucklack is from Toronto, so we might see him.
There you go. We might see him facing the Viking Raiders.
Raiders.
Yeah, here you go. Here's a match. It's the Viking Raiders versus like 10 different no-name tag teams, all in the ring at the same time. Who wins?
It's the Schmucklack family, all of them.
The only reason I would love that match is it be WWE kind of making fun of itself. So if that happens, there's somebody listening to our podcast, like 100%.
Exactly.
Because that's
definitely
so out there that something they would never do. If it happens, it's like, okay, yeah, somebody's listening.
Well, just if a jobber named Schmucklack shows up on one of the shows, I'm going to be concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm taking copyright on Schmucklack.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening to us. That's been our time this week. We appreciate listening. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. If you liked what you heard, hit the like button. If you didn't like what you heard, hit the dislike button.
Thumbs down.
And yell at us. Yell at us. Be like, yo,
Haters.
you guys need to stop having so much fun and talk realistic facts. There's no way, that storyline could ever happen. We like that. I'll argue with you. Yeah.
Yeah, take that.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's been our time. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.